Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm coming on to share with you how I've made this folio, kind of like a lapbook. It is just the very blank of the journal, but I've shown you how to decorate it in this video, and I'll just give you a quick overview so you can see what's going to be involved in the journal. So it opens up like this. Here in the middle is where I'm going to sew my signature, and it is going to be a traveller's notebook sized journal. I'm not sure if I'll do one or two. I might just do the one signature. That's obviously just one piece of paper as just a guide, so you'll see the journal will sit there. It'll be nice. So this side folds out like this, and there's a flip there. There's a flip here. I obviously haven't decorated any of it yet. I've just stitched around the edge. You will notice that that page is creased because it's a brown paper bag, but I'm going to decorate over that, not in this video, but I'll show you what I do later on. And then this half, I'm going to do a little tag there so that stays over, so it folds out like that, flips there, and I accidentally stitched it down. That might turn into a pocket, who knows. See where this develops. I'm going to do a tag there to hold that down, and yeah. So if you guys would like to see how to make something like this, then please do stay tuned. So the first thing that I'm going to start off with is just these cereal boxes. So I've got a Weetabix box, and all I've done is I've just cut along the side and I've just cut the tabs off the top. So that's going to be the main body of the journal. And then I've just got a fridge pack of Coke box, which I'm going to use to form another flap. So this is the size of the journal that I'm going to make. This is a traveller's notebook. I think it's 4 1/4 by 8 1/4. And all I've roughly done is I'm going to put that in there. So that will form an insert inside, probably at the back. So if I put that there, I've got all of this here to play with. So the first thing that I'm going to do is cut that off, I think, because even if I fold that in, that will always be a weak spot there, that bend. So I'm just going to cut that off. I could use a paper trimmer, but I'm happy to just eyeball it at this point. So that's going to be there. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to put another piece of this, and then that will create a nice flap. So if that's the flap there, you know, it's going to be just as big as the traveller's notebook, so that makes a good flap on the inside. But what I'm going to have to do is cut this down so that I can, because I only want a 1-inch flap or maybe an 1.5 inch flap, and then I'll stick that down there. So let's first of all start by cutting the journal down to the right height. Now I'll just use my paper trimmer, and all I'll do is I'll just eyeball it. Not sure if it's going to fit in my paper trimmer. So I'm just going to eyeball it. I'll hold that there, and I'll just sort of so now that's going to sit in there quite nicely. There's 1/4 inch either side. So what I'm going to do now is the journal's going to sit in there. Let me just double check the measurement. So yeah, it's about 4 1/4, this journal, but I don't want this, I want this to be a little bit more, so I might do it 4 3/4. How much will that give me? Yeah, that'll give me plenty of room, I think. So maybe I'll just do it 5. Okay, I'm going to cut it at 4 3/4. So that means I need to cut the front at 4 3/4, or am I just going to score the front? See, there's not much there that's going to give me to fold to make much of any type of flap. So I might just cut it again at 4 3/4, and I'll make the flap out of the other box that I've got. So this Okay, so that has a 2-inch spine, so that's plenty of room to allow for a journal, a fold there and a fold here. So there's going to be 2 folds that fold out like that. So I need to allow a certain amount of spines just to allow for that. So that journal is going to sit in there. Obviously that journal is going to be bigger than that. So let me reintroduce my second box to make sure that I've got them both the same, because I know all that I did was eyeball them. I'm going to put them under together and cut them both together. So I think what I'm going to do is, that is a perfect flap for there. So I'm just going to cut and give myself maybe an inch, inch and a half. Okay, so there we've got a nice little flap. And I'll just use my bone folder because that isn't a very tight fold. Now, what I intend to do is stick that onto there, but I'm going to need a very small spine along there, maybe just 1/4 of an inch, just to give a really good lip. And what I'm going to do is, instead of taking out of the spine, because as you can see that flap is quite close there, any extra padding and things, it might start catching. So I'll just take it 1/4 of an inch down here and make a slightly second spine. Okay. So that's scored it just there. I hope you can see that, but my scoreboard is not very good. I usually make do without a scoreboard, but probably can't for this. Okay, so I've bended it up a little bit now. Well, that's a struggle. This Coke box is actually quite thick. Okay, so there we've got a nice little lip there now. And then I can do any type of extra things in there, maybe like another little flip or a flip up or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and stick that down first. So what I'm going to use is this tacky glue, and I've also got some tape that I'm going to use as well. I'll show you the tape in a minute. So the tape that I've got is actually off a package, and it is really sticky. So all I'm gonna do and it's like a really matte feel, so it's got like a paper finish to it, so if I leave this exposed, that will be absolutely fine for the journal as well. I'm not sure how I'm going to decorate the cover yet. I'll probably do a little bit down there as well. If you don't have anything like this, I guess masking tape, if you had 2-inch masking tape, that would be really good. I'm going to put a little thin line down there. Okay, so here's a bit more. Oh, perfect length. So let's put that like that. I might just do it down the whole spine actually. We want, this is why we're reinforcing it, just to make sure that it's nice and strong. Make sure that when you're scoring it again, everything is lining up, because you wouldn't want to score it wrong. So that is our first little fold out. journal will probably sit above that, so the journal will sit there, that'll turn over, turn it into any type of flaps. So I want a similar type of system on this side, but I want it to be a bit thicker, so maybe like 1/2 inch spine here. So that would be perfect, but there's no room for a spine. That might come as a top flap, maybe. About the other half of the packaging, I was a bit reluctant to use this because it's got all of those marks on it, but let's give it a go. I think that might be my best bet for sticking to the page, make the spine there. So I'll cut that off. Now I'm gonna have to, because again I just eyeballed this, didn't I? I didn't measure it. So again, all I'll do is I'll just put a little mark on the page. That's the level that it needs to be cut at. A little bit shorter, but it doesn't matter. So we already said that's going to be the piece that sticks to the page. That should be enough, even though I left a lot more on that side. I'm going to allow a 1/2 inch spine on this one. So again, put that in. Okay. So again, my scorer isn't great, so I'm just going to use my metal ruler to help me fold it. Yeah, so you've got a good spacing between either side. So let me stick this now there. Millimeters to spare on either side, but that's okay. So all I'm doing is just peeling it off this packaging. Looking good. Hope you can see that. So there we go. Inside this one, I don't know if I should do maybe a little fold. You know, I could do a little fold out here of something or other, because there's a lot of room in that spine still. Maybe the 2-inch spine. A little bit optimistic with that journal in there as well. Maybe I could do 2 signatures. What I was going to do was a traveller's notebook in there that you could take out with elastic, but I guess I could do 2 traveller's notebooks. No, I think what I'll do is inside this one I'll do another type of flip out. I'm not sure if I need to make it out of card though. Let's have a look, what have I got? So I've got a piece that's this wide. I could do something that flips this way. Let me check what other cardboard I've got. This is just total improvisation now. All I'm going to do cut this down. Tiny bit off this side, just in case it gets thick. You want to leave a little bit of room as well. So what I'm going to do on this side is just do a little fold out, and I will just do it totally flat. I won't put any type of spine on there. Really give it a good score. And I'm just going to put it sort of halfway, I think. Try and just use up all the card that you've saved. Just eyeball it. You can put this flap wherever you want, this side. So again, I'm going to try and use some tape. I'm not sure if I've got enough. I do love this tape. I'm not sure what it's called. Is it like brown masking tape or something? I've never even seen it before. But it just came on this package and I thought that will come in useful for something or other. Real good score. And what I'll have to do is I'll have to do something that holds that down, I think, whether I do a little flip up or something like that. Now what I've got here is just a brown paper bag. I have previously cut into this, so I think what I'm going to do is just use some of this to construct some flaps whilst you're with me. So I'll just give it a little tear. Every brown paper bag that I get from a shop, I do just keep them in a little pile in my craft room. Okay. So I think I'm going to need to use the main body of it. And I've already got a rip there, so. Because I do love the top of the brown paper bags, the zigzags. So whatever I do with this, I'm going to end up backing it anyway. So I'll put designer paper on there or decorate it in whatever way. So it's always going to be decorated. Okay, so we'll fold it out there. And you can make this to whatever measurements you want. As you can see, I just make it up as I go along. So although that crease is there, what I'll do is I'll put a designer paper over this or decorate it or anything like that. I think I might have it that way actually, because that's going to fold out. No, because I'm going to attach that down, aren't I? So that'll go there like that. Let's be clear. I'm not going to sell it, or shall I? I might use a form of washi tape to hold this because I haven't got much of that tape left. No, I won't stick anything over that because I'm going to cover this back page anyway, aren't I? I'm going to decorate it. So that'll go there like that. That'll fold out. That'll fold out. I'll just do a fold out here. I think I may do one there so that folds down. Again, I like the crinkle on this one. So because that flap's quite big, I haven't decorated this page yet, so I'll need to decorate that to get rid of that. But it'd be nice if I left that open a little bit. I might have a bit more option. If I glue it down at a later date, then it gets glued down. But all I'll do is just do half an inch or so. Again, it doesn't need reinforcing because it's not a big thick piece of card, is it? Just eyeball it wherever you want to put it. Now I don't have a tag maker, but isn't that a lovely tag? If I cut that down a bit more, and if I got my corner rounder, that's the tab of the box. So if I try and, if I can't get those in my corner rounder, that's a shame. I could try and round them by hand. I'm not very good at that though. So that is a cool little tab, isn't it? Yeah, that would be quite cool on some of those. Just thinking out loud there. So there is that journal. That'll fold up like that. You can attach whatever signatures you're doing there, however you're going to attach them. And there you have it. What I'll do with the front of this is I'll just decorate it with brown paper bags. Now let me just show you how I've decorated this. So, well, not decorated it, but just made the base very neutral. Covered up the Weetabix logo. This is like packing paper. It comes inside parcels and it's all crinkled like that, and it does take inks really well, so I'll ink around the edges. So all I've done is I've just covered it. I don't mind that it's a bit messy because again it's going to be a grungy journal. So I've covered that one in the white paper. That's the original flap. So I haven't done anything to the inside other than literally just stitch it down. And that's the back. So yeah, that just gives you an idea. I'll continue to work on this journal and I shall continue to touch base with you to show you what I'm doing.